Well, hello, friends of the Twitchers. Sicey Steffi was first, yet again, officially. Denver, please do troll out the back door. Welcome in Finite, who is not first. Welcome in Joost, who is not first. Terrence from Belgium, where's the fight? There is no fight. I just asked people not to fight. It's very simple. I think it's a very easy request to honor. Please just don't fight. It's very simple. Chillaxathor, let's go! Let's go indeed. Welcome in. What have you thrown, Denver? Today we are not going outside, but tactics, it is a happy Friday indeed. Friday. As modern kids like to say. Did you throw your hands at me, Denver? Are you throwing tiny hands around? These ones. Are these the ones you're throwing? They don't make such an impact. It's not the same as slapping someone with a full-sized hand, is it? It's just like...
We're going outside!
Ooh. Just got back from outside. Tiny hands, they sting more. Yes, because they don't hurt. It just stings.
Garbage.
Outside gets triggered by anyone writing outside as well, which is quite hilarious. Joost is cooking. Joost, what are you making today? Let us know. How has everyone's week been? My... I did go outside today. Excuse me, I actually did go outside today. Shocking, I know. I mean, it's still in my building, so I didn't actually leave an indoor space. But, yeah. Finite, I have not gone outside in a while. Oh, what's happening here? It's okay if you said it again. There's a cooldown on it. There is a cooldown on it. So today I thought I would do something a bit different for a couple of reasons. Yo says something from the fancy Asian supermarket. Noodles in spicy sauce. Spicy spice sauce. Spicy spice. Okay, that's very spicy sauce, or it's spicy spice sauce with minced meat, and I'm adding bell peppers and egg. That sounds... chef's kiss. That sounds good. It would be great if you could share that with others in your area. Like if there was a, you know, a startup idea that someone had come up with. That would be really cool, actually. A little bit of self-promo from my startup. That's right. My startup, Cook Eat, is all about making home-cooked food accessible to everyone. We're only in Switzerland for the moment, but yes. It is literally called Spicy Spice Sauce. That sounds fascinating, actually. I really wonder what's in it. Besides probably MSG, monosodium glutamate. How would one share that? It sounds amazing. Well, you're making it now, so it's a little bit short. It's a little bit too short of a time span before the meal's taking place. But normally, anyone making anything, here in Switzerland, of course that is, can put a meal online for in the future. So for example, next Tuesday, I plan on making a quinoa salad with some vegetables in it. And because I can make that salad for, I don't know, 6 people easily, can make a big bowl of it, I can put a few portions online on the site, and people can buy them there. It's just an open marketplace. A what salad? A quinoa. Quinoa. Quinoa? Quinoa? Quinoa. Quinoa? Alright, chat. There needs to be a poll. How do you pronounce Quinoa? Is it quinoa, quinoa or is something else, which I have not thought about. I thought you said quinoa. Pick on Discord. Ah, Yost. I don't have Discord running on my stream computer for reasons. Yep, noodle in spicy sauce, spicy spice sauce with minced pork. It's literally what it says. It's literally what it says. Wow. That's interesting. Very interesting. So Finite says it's pronounced quinoa with flair. Quinoa! Quinoa! Hello Gaston, how are you doing? I'm doing very well, thank you. I can't really complain. My week was eventful. My week was very eventful. I decided that I cannot today stream anything that requires any brain power. That's why I decided to do a very chillaxed, chill bass is actually the playlist I'm on. Chill bass stream about streaming from a MacBook Pro, because I think some people might have questions about what it's like to stream from A, from a Mac, and B, from a laptop, because there are certain things that I need to do differently. New haircut, too much elegant. Elegant? I don't know if I would call this elegant, but thank you, Gaston. The bane at the end of the week. No more brain power from all the brain work that has been done during the week. Normally, on Fridays, I'm pretty hyped. Like, I normally have a ton of energy in the evening. I'm very much an evening person, not a morning person. So I can stay up easily 2-3 a.m. every day. It's no problem. And I'll wake up like 8-9 a.m. But I don't know. This week was somehow especially tiring. So already like Tuesday or Wednesday, I already said, oh, I'm not gonna do something exhausting on Friday. Also because, and here's the thing, also because two things. One, there will be no stream on Monday because I am actually going outside. I'm traveling to Berlin next week. So I'll be in Berlin Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I get back Thursday morning because I'm taking the night train. Choo choo! And so I will not be streaming on Monday because I'll be on a train. I'm actually going outside this time. So Monday stream will be cancelled. I actually still need to mark that. Oops. I need to mark that in Twitch, actually. I just realized. I didn't mark it. ÖBB night train. Yes, so Austrian Railways actually has a night train from Zurich to Berlin. Isn't that the funniest thing? It's like Austrian Railways powering a train from Switzerland to Germany. It's like, you know, it's the funniest thing. So I'm just gonna go to my channel and actually change my schedule because I forgot to cancel Monday's stream, which is kind of a boo-boo. So yes. So that was the first thing. Austria took over the night trains from the DB because DB didn't want them anymore. True. Yeah, the routes. Yeah, the routes. They took over them. DB is Deutsche Bahn, for those who are wondering, from Germany. So how do I edit my schedule? I don't even know where that is. Oh, there it is, schedule. I don't really touch this often. The other reason why I didn't really want to do something big today is because next Friday is gonna be massive. Absolutely massive. So I don't know if you heard already, but next Friday is a streamathon. Skip next Monday stream. Monday the 6th. Yeah, exactly. Best decision the Austrians ever made. makes them a lot of money, and it's a good way to travel inside Europe. Just hop on a train at night and wake up at your destination in the morning. Exactly. And with current COVID situation restrictions and stuff, where Switzerland has now been classified as a high-risk area, it becomes even more tedious to fly because of all the different things you need to fill out. And a train is super easy. Get on the train, you get off the train. So I booked my own cabin with a bed, because I need to sleep in a bed, cannot sleep in a chair. My bank would not like that whatsoever. So I booked myself a proper cabin, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Need to stock up on ice cream for next Friday. Yes, you do, Joost. You do indeed. So next Friday will start at a completely different time. It will start 9 hours earlier than today. So if you're wondering when that is, it's midday here in Switzerland. There will be an entertainment program. There will be not a schedule per se. There will be a rough sort of timeline of what we're going to do. I need to take care of my body, of course, so there will be breaks. In the breaks, you'll have a chance to chat with chat, maybe play some games. GMT, it is... it's in my schedule on Twitch. It's 12 o'clock CET, which is UTC +1, which if you go to time.is, we are currently on, what are we? GMT, what are we on right now? I don't even know. We are in UTC +1. I don't know how to explain that. Oh, Jay Walter, you missed the Go Live announcement. How's that possible? How is that possible? That's weird. Central European summertime starts March 27th. Hey, that's my birthday. Cool. You need Swatch internet time, Alan. UTC +1, that should be enough. UTC should be enough, but it's not. You were too focused on AOC. What is AOC, Jay Walter? I don't know what AOC is. Area of control, I think. I guess? I don't know. So there are no questions. There are no questions yet. Today's stream is about questions. Ah, advent of code. Oh, of course. Yes. Okay. Area of concern. Is all, yeah, it's also Age of Conan. There are no questions. So today's rule will be, if you have a question, then just prefix it with Q. So just write like something, question like, why are you lame? Okay? Just prefix a little Q in the beginning so that it's easier for me to distinguish in chat, because chat is blazing fast sometimes that I cannot, you know, I can't follow. So I get lost. So if I see a question, then I will note it down in the most epic stream tool that you've ever seen in your entire life. It is the best tool for streaming, and I can recommend it to everybody. It's just insane. Are you ready? I'm going to show you the best stream tool ever. It's called the Notepad. It's also Devin Nash's favorite weapon. So, finite. What is your favorite regular shape, and why is it the hexagon? Why did you lead me into an answer? What is my favorite regular shape? Answer is triangle. I love triangles. I think triangles are really cool. So that's the answer to that. Also hexagons. Hexagons are also very cool. Jay Walter, question, which is better, Switzerland or Sweden? That's a loaded question and I shall not be answering it, but you know the answer. Both countries are equally cool. Wait, then question isn't a bot. No. Question, why isn't Q a bot? So question bot, you would like to have, why isn't Q a bot? And the answer is, I don't know. That's the answer. This is a very low maintenance stream. So no, I've thought of some things. Of course, if people don't have questions right now, I've thought of a few things that I can show you to let you better understand what it's like to stream on a MacBook. Which MacBook do I have? This is very simple. So you can use the setup command to trigger a bit.ly, which leads to this Google Sheet, where you can see all of the different things that I have. So I've painstakingly put in all the links to everything on here. Okay? And if there are some questions, I will put them in here. I think it's fair. We'll do like this or something. So, what are the questions? Okay, which MacBook do I have? So I have a 2019 MacBook Pro 16-inch, which has a 2.4 gigahertz 8-core Intel Core i9. It has 64 gigs of RAM. So, does Q have anything to do with James Bond? It does not. So, Q. Does Q have... I'm not going to write this out, I'm kidding. Okay, so... I would like to see the temperature while you stream. It's up here. So we can go to... the activity monitor. I don't know if it will show it here. I don't think it shows temperature. I think it only shows it under... I don't think it shows it. No, it doesn't show it here. Question, what is the temperature? So the temperature surely showing to me right now is 68.8 Celsius. It's usually between 68 and 70. Temperature. So it's sort of between 68 and 70 C while I stream. CPU load is quite low. I can show you the console here. Oh no, that's not there. Can I show in menu meters? I wonder if menu meters has a... Oh no, that's only the preferences. Hey, Flyboy! Welcome in. Nice to see you. It's 70 here, but Fahrenheit. You need to round that temp to the nearest whole number. Yeah, I mean, I could do. But you can see here, so in terms of load, the load average is like pretty low. It's like 20% CPU, and it can go, technically it can go to 800% because it measures each CPU individually to 100%, each physical core. 60 Fahrenheit in Phoenix, the armpit of hell, has something. I'm not sure what that means. Flyboy. Has cooled. 60 Fahrenheit. 60 Fahrenheit in Celsius. That's 15. Okay. And it's 21 where Alan is. That's quite nice. That's my favorite temperature. I love 21 degrees. It's like the perfect balance, I think. 4.0 1 minute load average, and you call it low. Anything over 0.9 and I'm panicking. No, I mean, performance wise, it's okay, really. I mean, it's not like something, it's not something concerning for me. So CPU wise, it definitely isn't an issue because, you know, basically I have a lot of CPU available to me, so that's not really a problem. The throttling happens on the GPU side, definitely. So if I would want to try and record while streaming, I will get dropped frames. I've tried that, and I typically get kind of between 0.1 and 0.5% dropped frames per stream, which is negligible, obviously. Now I've had 59 dropped frames since we started, which is around 0.1%. So why do we drive on a parkway but park on a driveway? I do not know, Finite, but that is a very good question. That is a good question. 0C means cold, 0F means dead. Yeah, that's a good way to remember. That is a good way to remember. That's true. So your server has 20 hours up, 3 days, 1842, one user, load average 0.09. Wow, that's not bad. But I'm guessing that's not your primary machine, if I had to guess. So I use this laptop for everything. I use this laptop for work. I use this laptop for my private stuff. I use this laptop for my startup. This is my only laptop. Actually, it's not entirely true. That is my primary laptop. I do have a second laptop, a 2017 MacBook Pro with terrible specs, 13-inch. And that's our like our YouTube machine that we watch like YouTube and Netflix on when we're eating or stuff like that. So it doesn't work as a streaming machine. I have tried to make it a streaming machine, but that's a topic for another time, I think. Definitely. So you were cold, but it turns out that you're 0 Kelvin. Well, your name isn't Kelvin, so obviously you're not Kelvin, Denver. It's normal. Follow-up question. Why are parcels sent by a car called a shipment, but parcels sent by ship are called cargo? These questions are all very good questions, but they're not questions I can answer. That's the difficulty. So if there are no actual questions, I have prepared some things. I have prepared some things that I can show you about things that I do for streaming. So let me just show something here. I want to cover up some stuff first. Give me a second. I think I should take a screenshot and then cover over stuff. I think that's going to be easiest. I should talk with Absinthe. He's a hardware guy. It's not so much a hardware problem. It's a software or networking issue. In terms of getting the second machine to act as just a stream machine. Update: spicy spice sauce is only moderately spicy, but it's very spiced. I think that was the whole point, Yoast, right? Like it's a spiced thing. So let me just open this up. I'm just gonna blur my screen for a second. So I need to edit this. Give me a second. I need to annotate this because I want to hide a couple things. Rectangle. So I want to show you all a couple things. I don't think this is necessarily only a tech thing, but or a Mac specific thing. Let me just black out a couple things here. I need to I can blank out a couple things. This is fine. These are fine. That's fine. And I have to close that as well. Okay. What would happen if Pinocchio says, "At this moment, my nose is going to grow"? 8-bit Trello. Exactly. So I want to just show you all something that I do as part of my process. I believe that good streaming comes from being consistent. A lot of people probably disagree with me. I know that if Panther was here, she would probably call me asinine or other dirty words. and say that I'm always trying to control everything on my stream, etc., etc. But I believe that being consistent, it doesn't mean that you can't be spontaneous. It doesn't mean that you can't change things up really fast. It doesn't mean that you can't do cool things just because chat wants you to or whatever. Like, I didn't plan to wear a bunny suit during my sponsored stream on Monday. That wasn't something I had discussed with them. But I felt like they were in a place where it was probably okay. Like, they would think it's all right. Flyboy wants to redeem a time warp. Yes, I shall redeem a time warp. Let's wait a second, because there's going to be an ad running, Fly, and I'll do it after the ad is run. How about that? That's in about a minute. There's going to be an ad. Let me know what ad you get, by the way. I'm curious. So one thing that I do as part of being consistent is I have a Trello board. Yes, Fly, we can be spontaneous. We can. Although channel points is like, you know, I expect those things. You know what I mean? Like, I put them in there because I expect people to redeem them. So maybe it's not spontaneous. Maybe it's just planned. I don't know. Anyhow, so like, you know, these are like these are like ideas, right? I should probably also black a couple of these. But basically, my stream is about being consistent, and so one thing that I do is I have a Trello board, and the Trello board has, if someone has an idea for a stream, then I dump it in the idea dump. Stuff that I'm working on, like the streamiversary next week, which is going to be 14 hours, I made a Trello board so that I could, you know, put my ideas in there and link to stuff or whatever. Now the ad is going to be starting. And I also have a checklist, this pre-post stream checklist, and that's what I'm going to run you through now, because these are the things I always do before streaming and after streaming to ensure that I don't forget anything. Because if I forget something, it usually results in a lot of things not working. And this being my primary laptop, this is the main reason why I have that checklist. If I just had a streaming PC that I only used for streaming, I wouldn't need to do this necessarily, right? So it's not so much it's a Mac thing, but it's just the fact that it's my work laptop as well, right? So yeah, I plan to take everyone through this checklist because the checklist contains a lot of the configuration and stuff that I need to do because it's a Mac. I thought it would be interesting, and everyone can of course ask questions. I've got a 2 PC setup and I still use a checklist. Well, that's good. I believe a checklist is important. So what does my checklist look like, you ask? Let's open up the checklist and take a look. So let's look at the checklist. I want to make it small. I can't. Okay. I need to make a screenshot. Trello's doing weird stuff. Oh yes, we could totally drop as well. Don't forget. How can I just open this card? Is that not possible? Link to this card specifically. Can't I just show one card? No, that's not possible. Okay, I can embed this card. Let's not. Okay, so I have to make this a bit more narrow. Who landed, by the way? Surly Dev. That's pay to win right there. That's definitely pay to win. I just don't feel like anyone's seeing the rest of the stuff that I've planned. That's all. Okay. Here we go. I can make this a bit smaller. In case anyone's wondering, this is what the setup looks like roughly. I can just keep that there if people are curious. Okay, so basically, here's the first thing. Flyboy, we gotta do your thing. So we're gonna switch to just me. Flyboy, do you have any specific requests around your time warp? Do you know what the time warp is? If you don't, that's fine. You can also just say do whatever. You can choose. I'm open. It can be as spontaneous as you like, right? Can be anything. Really, almost. Obviously not TOS stuff. Up downs, otherwise I don't know. Okay, well we can try an up down thing. Uh-oh. I wonder if that's too harsh. I think... Oh, maybe... yeah, I mean... I guess that works. Terrifying. Looks the same? How dare you? How dare you, Alan? How dare you say something like that? So, there's a couple of things that people probably want to know. I know that you're joking, Alan. It's okay. It's totally fine. The first thing, I'm happy to also show my OBS setup. That's also not a problem. I just don't know if it's interesting for people to see the OBS setup. But the Mac OBS is very specific. So the first thing that I do is I adjust the today command in Stream Elements. Everybody knows what Stream Elements is. I don't need to go into like a lot of detail about Stream Elements. But basically I adjust the today command because today everything is a bit different. Obviously, you know. If I've been doing FCC the stream before and I do FCC again, then I just leave it, obviously. Stream Elements. Ah, Denver, do you not know? Okay, Stream Elements is a bot. Stream Elements is a bot that allows you to automate certain things on your stream. Like Nightbot or Streamlabs or whatever. So you see here, you can have all these different commands. Oh, you do? You're just trolling. But maybe someone in chat didn't know. Now you ask the question and someone didn't dare ask or something. I don't know. So here we have default commands, which most of them are deactivated. And then I have all my custom commands, right? This one we can turn off actually. So yeah, so Stream Elements, I log in. Then I change my stream title and go live notification in Stream Manager on Twitch. I guess everybody knows what that is by now. It would be very odd if you didn't know what Stream Manager was. If you're a streamer, of course. On Twitch, it's just a little interface for you to change all your settings for streaming and monitor chat and all this stuff. Canhorn, what is Twitch? I mean, I kind of knew that I was risking epic trolls today. Like, it's certainly something I took into account when coming up with this idea, but it's also super easy to just end stream. Like, I could totally just end stream now and you all just go away, you know. It's also possible. What is data? Oh, Jay Walter with the big philosophical questions. Canhorn, it's an open source platform for videos and stuffs. Tactics, what are shoes and why does Maddie have 2 of them? This is very funny because basically Twitch, if they're like monitoring my chat, they will see that this stream in particular has so many questions in it compared to my normal stream. They'll be asking themselves like, huh, why does the streamer suddenly have like all these questions? That's very weird. I don't know. Anyway, so then I open various things and close various things. One of the things that I open is called Better Points. This wasn't working prior to stream. Ah, it seems to be working now. Better Points, it's called Better Scenes actually, is the tool's name. Allows me to trigger things in OBS from chat. And I got rid of all the things in here, but the one thing that does not work with Memebox is text to speech. So that would be my my feature request to Noob would be supporting text to speech. But basically it's the channel point redemption, which we can enable that. Stream Manager. So if I go to my Stream Manager, which I'll mute now because it might play my audio, I can actually go to our, where is it again? Viewer rewards. Channel points. I can actually reactivate that reward. Make Karen say stuff. There we go. So now that one is active again. Jay Walter will be right back. Day 3 of Advent of Code needs to be solved. Ooh. Canhorn, how much white light balancing did you have to do? In regards to the camera? In regards to the DSLR? Or how do you mean? Oh no! Oh no! Okay. Well, I can certainly put them on. Chill. I can certainly put them on. It's very dramatic indeed. Finger cam is active. Here we go. Yes, camera and just picking your lights. Well, okay, so the ring lights have 3 modes. They have white, orange, and mixed. I didn't measure the Kelvin. Like, I didn't measure the temperature, the color temperature. I am an amateur photographer, so I already had the DSLR. But I run the DSLR in basically neutral mode. It doesn't adjust anything. So it's as authentic as possible, let's say. And in terms of like balancing anything, I actually didn't change any balancing settings. I really didn't change anything. I don't do any post-processing on the machine or anything like that. Can you use the tiny hands to adjust the ring lights? Is that how you make micro adjustments? Good job. Good job, Finite. Congratulations. Good job. I prefer the term naked. What? GDPR. Oh, okay. Apparently I have been flagged. I've been flagged and I must wear GDPR glasses. Very well. Let's go indeed. So yes, TTS is apparently now working, so I re-enabled that. So you can do Karen like, she could say something like, tiny hands. That did not work. Okay, interesting. That should have worked. Maybe there's something with the API or something. Let's try that again. No one redeemed Karen because it's gonna auto redeem. And I can't refund you. Yeah, that's not working still. That's awful. Okay, so we're gonna go back to oh, I have to type with tiny hands, don't I? No, I don't. Stream manager. I'm gonna turn it off again because I don't want people to waste their channel points on something that's broken. Because that's not fair. So that's the only thing that I think is a bit buggy that doesn't really work consistently is that. No, those are shoes. I know those are shoes. Karen. Okay, make Karen is turned off again. So yeah, that doesn't work, which is unfortunate, but normally that's what I'm using. Next, so what have I missed? Can you use the tiny hands to adjust the ring lights? No, I cannot. Oh, Canhorn, you'd asked, what are some of the must-have Stream Deck shorts do you think are needed? Stream Deck we can definitely cover. Definitely. So the way I have my Stream Deck set up is pretty simple. So now I have the tiny hands active. Let me just deactivate that. So this is how I have my Stream Deck set up. I don't think it's particularly novel or innovative in any way. I just think this works very well for me. So I'm gonna go through it a little bit. I think what is important is to have certain things accessible to you instantly, which are very important. For example, this one here, this orange one mutes the desktop audio. So if something starts playing and you can hear it, so like let's say I'm watching like a YouTube video and there's some DMCA audio or something and I immediately hear that, I can cut the desktop audio instantly so that I don't have any problems. My mic and desktop run on separate sources. I'll show that in the I'll show that after in OBS. That makes more sense. Then I have my mic as well, which I can mute instantly, which is very important. I think that's the most important button, to be honest, is this one. Streaming here, this is just for switching between my audio settings in Mac. I will show this in a second as well, like why I need to change that, because Mac doesn't have a local way of monitoring audio. Hello Ian, and thank you for tuning into the stream as usual. This tech button is basically for technical issues, so technical difficulties. That's just if I really want to hide everything. It's more of a gag than anything else. I've never really needed to use it, but if something is truly, if I don't want to show something, then I can just hide it instantly by doing that. This emote here is actually the drop game with my heart. It's just so I don't have to type drop in chat every time. It means I always drop with the same emote, but it's not a huge problem for me. That's right, Steffi. Mac does not allow recording system sounds out of the box, so there's a workaround for that. Blur is the same thing. It blurs my screen. I can show in OBS how that works as well. It's quite easy to do. If you want to see the technology behind it, you can use the pixels command, and Luce's blog will tell you more. You can see how everything becomes pixeled except the drop game, for example, or overlays or memes. That has to do with the order. Oh, Gaston, you just clipped the edge! How mean! You just clipped the edge there. So you can see how the drop game is still unpixelated. That was important to me. That's basically the order of the scenes in OBS. Okay, let's all drop. Let's do it. Why not? And oh, Steffi just smashing Chilaxathor. Wow, that was a hard impact. That was really harsh. That was super harsh. Oh, Chilaxathor. Oh, good land. 28. Solid. So then I have various folders for stuff, and then I also have arrows here on the bottom, which allow me to scroll through sounds. Because basically what I discovered is because if I put sounds in folders, it's too hard to find. So if I have a sound and I'm like, oh, can horn, that's you, then I can press the truck horn very quickly without having to search through all the sounds for it. And I ordered them also in like order of me, in order of me like using them. So I put like the most common sounds here, and then as they get more rare, as I don't use them very often, basically. I see that Steffi and Chilaxathor, you kind of planned. So the other things that I have, so I've got all my commands. These are basically the most common commands that I use, like today and join our Discord as well. It's super useful. All those things. Then I also have the shoutouts. So I've basically put everyone into a shoutout because I don't like typing people's usernames, because it's very easy to get the wrong person's username in there, which I've done a couple times. So I tried to keep everyone on one grid, but it's very hard. So yeah, I can need to keep swapping them out based on who's streaming currently and all this kind of stuff. It's a bit tedious, but it's worth it, I think. And then, so I've got, on the top here, I've got OBS. OBS is basically, I have 4 main stream elements scenes, or 3 rather. One of them is coming from Memebox, and I can disable the scene, or yeah, I can disable the item in the scene, which means you won't see or hear those alerts. And basically the idea is that if I started getting spammed by something, I could easily turn off individuals things like the status bar, or I can turn off emote wall, or I can turn off Memebox, or I can turn off alerts, etc, etc. And it's just quite easy to do. This changes camera position. So if I go like this, just changes my camera position, which is useful because depending on what I'm showing on screen, this changes the camera position. Then the overlay stuff, this is very simple. This is an intro video that I recorded with my partner. which is quite funny. I don't really use it that often, but I think I will use it for next week. This is currently broken, the confetti thing. I want it to work, but it doesn't work. I can't get it to work yet. It's something I need to work on. And this one, most of you probably know what it is. Who knows what 90 mil represents? I'll give you a hint. If you go to my website, if you go to my personal website, it will give you a hint as to what it is. Burnout retinas. Never heard of it, maybe play it. Not lumens, surely. Oh, surprise! It's 90 million lumens, which is a huge meme, which is basically whenever there's an application that's like full light mode. It's basically 90 million lumens. And that's done through Memebox. Then we've got the different cameras, which you know. So we have the Fiona cam, which is the one in the corner. So all of your applications would fall into that. Where is she at the moment? I think she's on the couch, I'm not sure. Then we've got the finger one, which you saw, which is this one down here. And then you've got the alternate face cam, which is that one up there. It's like security cam. Those are basically toggles that allow me to toggle them on and off. I can of course activate one of them and then go off the screen and it stays active, and I can come back to it and deactivate it, right? That's just how Stream Deck works. It stays in that state until you change it. I think those are very useful. You're welcome for the warning, Yost, no problem. So then we've got stuff for my lights. Can we get a channel point for GDPR and security camera in one? Ah, that's a good idea, Canhorn. If someone redeems GDPR, I can change it to security camera. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Why not? So my lights basically control the lights behind me. So you see here green or lilac or just white, whatever. This is using Philips Hue, which is very, very simple. If you've got a Philips Hue bridge, you can do this very easily. So I can change all the lights. Technically, I could do this from stream as well. There is a way to do it from stream, like to hook up channel points to Stream Deck, but I haven't done that because I feel like that might be a bit chaotic. And these are basically for... This is actually a 90 million lumens scene that I came up with, which just turns the light to 100%, which obviously is too high because it blows out the camera. And yeah, so I have like a base scene that I can go back to. That is not so bad. Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. And it's useful because I use the same setup for work, right? So I can change my lights behind me in meetings and stuff, and that's always fun for a gag. The LED bar, the one you see up here, is actually a Philips Hue manual switch, which is hooked up to the LED bar that you see here on the right. This one is from IKEA, actually. It's like a limited edition one. And this LED bar is just a USB, but I plugged it into a charger and I put it into the Philips Hue switch so that I can use it from the Philips Hue as well, like this, you see? And that's the light I usually use during the day, and the ring lights I don't use them during the day because it's quite harsh on your eyes. And so that's the light stuff. Then there's some utilities, which basically is I have my camera also on a Philips Hue switch, so I can turn off my camera by touching this green button, which I won't do because it'll turn it off. But basically, that is, if something was happening behind me or something like that, then I could very quickly turn off my camera to stop it from broadcasting. Basically, it just cuts power. Yes, this is this is something you don't need to know about. Let's put it like that. That's just because of the way that I was using my computer before with JetBrains. I had 2 licenses because I had one for work and one for private, and I would swap the key. It's a little script that swaps the key. Anyway, so then there's like all the Twitch stuff, like stream markers or making a new clip or switching to follow only or switching to emote only, clearing chat, slowing chat down. These are all like things I very rarely use. If someone redeems emote only, then of course I can just hit emote only. And these two were actually configurations that I did for hate raids. If there ever would be a hate raid, I would mute all my alerts, I would switch to followers only, I would clear chat, I would create a stream marker, and then I would have a message in chat that says, hey, sorry, like we're getting inundated with hate, blah, blah, blah. And then this would be to reset it. Fortunately, I haven't had to use it, which is nice. I also have a folder for all the ad lengths that Twitch can offer you. So if I need to go on a longer break, I could just play a 360-second ad. So I guess it's just, there's not really much point. I just put them there, so they're there. It doesn't really do much. And the most fun is this folder. These are all the memes. The memes are not usable outside VIP status, so they're only usable by VIP and above. That's basically the perk of being a VIP versus just, you know, subbing or something. And these are all the different memes, which most of them you've heard. Some of them you have not, because they don't come up very often. Outside came up a few times today. I think they're hilarious. I just keep collecting more and more, and I ran out of space now. So I actually don't know what to do about that, because I think I need to make a folder in there. So that's basically it. That's Stream Deck. So about the audio stuff, I'll get to that now, because that's an interesting one. Yeah, so you know, opening Memebox and all this kind of stuff. Like I use Memebox, which is built by one of our good friends here in the Claw, that noob.
We're going outside!
Memebox is an application that you can use to, yeah, basically display anything on your stream, and it can be triggered by chat as well, like by channel points and things like that. So it's quite cool. For example, I don't know, like Toad or whatever, I can just trigger them manually as well. Basically, all the other stuff is just like checking things and stuff like that. However, one of the biggest things about Mac is audio. And I'm sure all of you are wondering, how do you get around the whole problem of audio on Mac? Well, this is how it works. And it's not a huge secret or anything like that. I actually prefer people to know this. So if anyone thinks this could be useful to someone, feel free to clip it afterwards, or I can even make it a highlight or something. But basically, this is how audio works on Mac. Okay? So, I'm using OBS, okay? So my input is NDI audio, which right now for streaming doesn't matter because OBS is picking up everything. So this doesn't really matter. What does matter is the output, because when you play sound on your computer, it's going to put that where it needs to go. And you'll see here that I have a audio output called streaming. This is an aggregate device. Now, what is an aggregate device? An aggregate device is set up here in Mac, has a audio devices window where you can set up an aggregate device where it takes various inputs and puts them together into a single output. Does that make sense? So what I'm doing is I'm using my so basically everything that comes in, sorry, it's the other way around. That didn't make sense. Basically all of the stuff that plays to your audio output, so that would be alerts or Discord alerts, messages, music, etc. All of that plays into two places. It's playing into my Realtek USB 2 audio, which is actually my docking station, where I have my headphones plugged into. Okay, it's like external headphones, basically. 3.5 millimeter, nothing complicated. The other thing you see here, this Blackhole 2 channel, that is the secret. That is basically the secret. The secret is very simple. Mac does not allow you to monitor audio of your machine by itself, right? So what you have to do is create, you have to install this tool, which is called Blackhole. So if you go to Rogue Amoeba Blackhole, I think it's called. Let me see. Yeah, it's this one. So, oh yeah, there's a GitHub download, and so this is basically what it does. Open source virtual audio driver that allows applications to pass audio to other applications with zero additional latency. Thank you very much, Steffi, for linking in chat. And basically what this does is it takes all the stuff and it puts it into one big pipe, right? So it's very simple. Now, what you do when you're using that is very simple, is that all of your stuff is being routed to this internal channel, which you can then use in OBS as an input source. And then you have basically two input sources. Let me show you actually. Maybe it's time to already show OBS, let's say. It's possible. We're gonna have a bit of streamception here. That's good. I'll just turn off preview, otherwise it's gonna be very confusing. So basically here you can see there's two, oh, do you see that? Yes, you do. Okay. So basically here you see there's two channels, two audio sources. The first one being this Blackhole 2 channel, and the second one being Thai condenser. That's my microphone, as you can see if I stop talking. And the other one is this Blackhole 2 channel. And that is basically an audio input. Now, why do I have my audio device here? Why do I have this set to streaming? Because otherwise I would not hear anything that is going out to the Blackhole 2 channel. That's the biggest problem, is in order to monitor my audio, I need to do it that way. And there's a very simple reason for that. If I set audio monitoring here, if I set this to monitor on, what happens is it will play double, once through the stream output and once through Blackhole. And actually this one, this sound alerts, is actually wrong. This one should actually be set to monitor off. I'm not sure why that's the case. I'll leave that for the moment. But basically, otherwise I would hear everything twice. So in order to hear the music and the alerts and everything that's happening on my stream, basically I have, you know, I catch the system audio and everything here, and then my microphone separately. Steffi, the only catch with that is you can't use media buttons to regulate your audio anymore on aggregate devices. That's correct. If I type here volume up or volume down, you can see there's a little no entry sign. That's because the volume is fixed at 50% system volume. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does have consequences. So for example, my sound volume from Pretzel is super low. It's down here. It's like 11%. And the reason is it's at 11% is because otherwise it blows my eardrums. Like, it's just literally too loud, right? So it has a real problem. Denver has a question about macOS audio. Go ahead, Denver. You don't have to ask about asking a question. You can just ask the question. It's no problem. And otherwise it would blast all of your ears. That is true. Because actually I've, so if you see here, this one, 0, 0, is actually leveled to 0. I'm not adjusting it at all. There's no volume dissipation or anything. There's no change there whatsoever. So Denver asks, can you disable audio output devices completely? So not have any audio output anymore? In theory, yes, you can route something to nowhere. You can't disable it completely. Specific devices. No, this is the problem. So if I have, for example, my monitor, the C43J89X is my widescreen monitor. I cannot disable that. You have 3 monitors and they each shows an output and macOS switches to them randomly sometimes. Yes, that is a very big problem for me as well. Sometimes if I boot up my Mac, there's sometimes a problem with it switching to the monitor. And unfortunately, there's nothing, you can't stop it from doing that. There's no way that I know about actually disabling an audio output device. I wouldn't know any way to do that. Chilaxathor, chocolate pudding for everyone. I made it here. Woo! Chocolate pudding! I love pudding. I love chocolate pudding. It's delicious. Oh, Denver, it makes you cry. I'm sorry. One of the biggest problems I had also in the beginning that I made a fatal error with was changing this sample rate. So it was set to something like 44 and my OBS setting was at 48 and it did weird things. It just did the weirdest stuff. So make sure that your sample rates are aligned on everything. Even more annoying, use the AirPods. It causes the audio input of the Mac to switch to the AirPod mic. Yep. Denver, 44.1 kilohertz. What's the question? I don't know. I don't know too much about like in-depth audio stuff, if that makes sense. So yeah, audio is like one of the biggest problems with Mac. And now I also use, that's the default sample rate. Yes, exactly. So I also use this application here called Philips Hue Bridge. Sorry, no, it's called LightSync. That's the one. So what LightSync does is I have a channel point reward called Disco Lights. I think Flyboy, you redeemed that last time. So basically Disco Lights means I can pick a few lights of different color themes. So if someone redeems it now, I could do it. Basically, they could pick colors here, right? Like yellow and purple, for example. And if I start LightSync, the lights behind me will start like throbing or strobing in tune with the music. And you can choose the effect and all that kind of stuff. And watch what happens to the audio when this happens. I want to show you. This is quite cool, okay? Here we go. Did anyone see that happen? Let me go back here. Did anyone see that happen? So if we look in the audio list now, we can see it's now set to something else called Hue Sync Audio. You see here? Hue Sync Audio virtual device. So actually what Philips Hue is doing is they're taking my existing output, which is streaming, this aggregate device. It's adding that to Philips and then outputting it again as the same device. So they have their own virtual audio device as well. And when you start the LightSync, it activates that. And when you stop it, it switches back to your device that you had before. And that was something that wasn't working right somehow a few weeks ago. That's why when Flyboy redeemed it, it didn't work properly. But it's very, very, very complicated to figure out in the beginning. But now that I figured it out, it works very well. It works very well. So yes, that was one of the biggest things was audio stuff. One of the other big things, thank you, Chill. One of the other big things is about video and video quality. So as you know, I use OBS. And one of the difficulties with OBS was finding the right settings that are balanced enough so that I don't stream at too high quality that there's too much load on my computer, but also not too low quality, right? So if we look at OBS's settings, actually, I don't need to have that in there. Let me just go to preferences. I don't know what you can see while streaming, but basically, if we go to output, you can see here, I stream with CBR with variable rate control at 4,500 kilobits. Twitch's maximum is 6,000. The problem is if you go to 6,000, people are receiving a lot, right? And that generally makes the stream harder to connect to for a lot of people. So I was streaming at 6,000 kilobits for a while, but it was very, very tricky for people to watch. The audio stuff is pretty boring. It's all pretty standard. The video is where it's complicated. So in addition to having a Mac, as you can see on the right here, I have 2 additional screens. I have a widescreen, a 43-inch widescreen, curved, and I have a vertical monitor. And so I had to, because I don't look at my laptop while I stream, I look at this screen, but this screen has an aspect ratio of 32:9 or 32:10, which of course is rubbish for Twitch, because then you'll have these massive black bars across the top. Twitch's aspect ratio is 16:9 or 16:10. I don't remember. I think it's 16:9. So basically I had to create a canvas that was 16:9, which meant that I needed to take my full 1440, which is the height of my screen, 1440, but I had to chop off the left side. So everything that you don't see right now to the left of my mouse, that's still a third of my screen, right? That's where I keep moving OBS to. You can see here, I just keep moving OBS over there. So it is very practical when streaming because you don't have 2, right? Isn't the bandwidth for recipient usually auto and Twitch transcribes? Yes, but it causes connectivity issues, Yost. So I was streaming for a while with 6,000 and there were quite a few people in chat saying that they were getting quite a bit of buffering and stuff. And so I don't want people to have to change their settings. Twitch's auto setting is not great, I guess. So I'd prefer to just lower it on my side to make it more accessible for people. In the end, I'm also not doing anything that's crazy intense, right? So it's not a huge problem. Like, I'm not playing FPS games or anything like that. So basically my canvas is 2560 by 1440, but I don't want to stream in 1440p because I was doing that for a while, but my computer couldn't handle it. I was getting a lot of like graphic lag when I would move windows around and stuff. I would have such issues. I really would have such issues. So what I ended up doing is basically scaling down the base output. Sorry, not the base, but the output to 1600 by 900 at 30 FPS. Garbage. Is it really garbage quality? I don't know. I think it's all right. I mean, chat, you tell me if you don't think the quality is very good. I think the stream quality is all right. I mean, in the end, I'm just showing my desktop most of the time, so it's not like very, very important. You don't need to see like every tiny little dimple and imperfection on my face either, right? So basically, this is sufficient. So yeah, that works very well. And so I'm streaming at 900p with 30 FPS with the 4,500 kilobits up to Twitch. Rick, can you auto arrange windows within the 16:9 canvas that you defined for OBS, like maximize window or switch to quarter size like tools like rectangle? So that's a great question. I have a tool called rectangle, and it can have, you have settings. So for example, if I want to put something in a third, right? Then I can press a hotkey and I can get exactly 1/3 of the monitor. The problem is that rectangle is only looking at the entire monitor. So in order to actually start streaming, what I have to do is essentially look at my OBS window and then drag OBS until OBS is exactly that size that it's out of that frame. So that's basically what I do, is OBS in this size that I have it right now, when I move it over, you just don't see OBS anymore. And that's basically what I do before I start streaming, is I just put OBS over there, and then I know that anything next to OBS, this is like my streaming area, let's say. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, okay, cool, you got it. So yeah, that's definitely something to get used to, and it is something that's also sometimes a bit of a downfall, because if I open up something, Like let's say I open up like something like this, it will tend to open up in view of Twitch. It's not like opening up on a separate monitor, because this is also my primary monitor. Mac allows you to define displays. If we look in the display settings, there is this here, this little gray bar tells Mac what your primary display is. So stuff will always open here, and I don't switch that because it's really tedious to have the laptop screen as the primary monitor, because everything opens there and you have to keep dragging it over. So it's a huge pain in the butt. So basically, I like the new display stuff from Mac, by the way, that they tell you which screen is what. Like they show you the model numbers. It's kind of cool. What do I use my vertical display for? I use the vertical display for literally one thing, which is my little app that we built 2 weeks ago, Lurk Reveal, where you can see anyone that's in your Twitch chat, basically. Which I just use it for monitoring. I don't really look at the vertical display much. If I'm coding something, it's very useful for coding. That's why I love Rectangle. Yes, I would actually love a feature that would allow me to define an area with Rectangle, because I didn't see that option. I haven't seen an option for Rectangle to define an area. That would be really like the next level of this app, would literally be saying, okay, this is the area I want to move windows around in. That would just be so awesome. I also removed the snap windows option because I tended to move stuff around like this, and then it would start snapping it to different positions, which I don't like. I know there's another app someone told me about for Mac that allows you to define all the windows in a certain place for streaming. For example, like you always want OBS here in this window size, you always want hue in that size. And you know, I thought about doing that, but in the end, like I still need to open those apps and check that things are working. So it's not a huge problem for me to open it and just resize it to the screen size. It's not a huge thing for me. Yeah. So that covers that kind of stuff. The other thing about Mac and streaming is understanding how should I put this? I need to think about this for a second. So when you have two computers, then one is your primary and one is like a streaming computer, for example. Your streaming computer is basically dumb. It just receives an input and then puts it up. The thing that the Mac is doing is it's encoding everything and putting the stream up. When you're using a laptop especially, if you start something or do some kind of process, it will kill your stream. And that's a really big problem, especially when I'm streaming something, for example, involving Docker. So I will avoid starting something during the stream that I know might cause issues, unless I'm like in the be right back, like in a break where I know it can lag out my camera or something like that. But basically, like, especially with a laptop, with a PC, this isn't really such a big deal because PCs are a lot more powerful. But with a laptop and with Mac especially, there's so much potential for something to lag something out or consume a crap amount of power at one time. And the number one thing for that is freaking spotlight search. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've been doing something, I've been streaming, and suddenly I'll see the CPU usage or RAM or even the temperature start to go up. And I'm talking 80 Celsius. I'm not talking 68 or 70 Celsius. I'm talking like 80 degrees, 78, 80 degrees. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? Like, I'm literally just doing, like, right now, like, I've got Chrome open and I've got maybe Visual Studio open, like VS Code, and that's it, right? And basically what I see is that Spotlight started indexing. And Spotlight Index basically eats everything from your computer. Like Apple has somehow decided that it doesn't need any kind of limit. Spotlight is just like a fleet, or what would you call it? Like a a whole pack of pit bulls in terms of your computer. Like it just lets loose on your computer. It's savage. It's completely savage. And so I had to actually disable Spotlight indexing completely because I couldn't control when it was going to come and when it was going to hog all the resources. Spotlight is worse than Chrome. Absolutely, Steffi. Spotlight is like 10 times worse than Chrome because it's not only RAM, it's disk usage. And disk usage on Mac is bad because you only have one hard drive. That's what people forget. Yes, it's an SSD, but try and get 10 things to access the SSD at the same time. That's a real problem. I had the same problem with Windows Defender. Good thing I could exclude my projects folder. Yeah, I tried using the exclusion in Spotlight Index first. I excluded like my NAS and, you know, all that kind of stuff connected. It wasn't enough. It would just let rip during a stream. The second thing that does that is Time Machine. So I use Time Machine, and I know that Panther said today she doesn't use Time Machine. That's fine. I use Time Machine on my NAS. I have a separate hard drive on my NAS for Time Machine because I think like restoring the state that your computer was in, literally like the exact state, not only about the files, but all the settings and everything. If you bork something, that's super valuable. Like that's worth having a hard drive for me. So I have Time Machine on my NAS and I back up Time Machine to it. But Time Machine would also come up during the stream, and I would pause it and I would forget to turn it back on after stream again, even with the post-stream stuff. So what I did is I installed a tool for Time Machine that allows it to stay on, but you can define when it gets backed up according to a very specific schedule, almost like cron, Yoast. So you could probably set up a cron job to Spotlight Index, but it's not that valuable because I don't really use Spotlight Index like for documents or stuff. It's not that valuable for me. So now what I can do is I can select backup now, and it will run the Time Machine backup, and it will only run on days when I'm not streaming. That's how I've set that up. So that's really one of those two things for me were really, really important. Other things, you may notice in the photo there's a fan on the bottom. Let me just move myself so you can see. I'll keep myself on the left maybe. Okay, Rick, you can come back, it's no problem. So you can see here there's a fan under the desk. This fan is for airflow. In addition to the Mac being already on a laptop stand, I actually need airflow in this room. The room that I'm in is just a normal office, right, at home. But if there's no airflow here, the Mac still tends to get very, very hot. Right now it's like 66, even 67, which is pretty good. But if there's no airflow in the room whatsoever, it's really bad. Like the Mac just doesn't have the capability. So it will ramp up the fans eventually, and that gets really, really loud. The first thing. So for the microphone, that's a bit more tricky to filter out. Yoast is a fan. I am very happy that you're a fan, Yoast. But so there needs to be some kind of airflow in the room. So in addition to keeping my feet cool, which is very nice, it's kind of it's just a nice little thing. While I keep it on relatively low, but basically just keeps a little bit of airflow in the room, which is super important. I didn't mention the camera is running on a DC adapter, so it's not off of battery. That's very important if you plan on using your DSLR for streaming. Originally, I was using my Logitech webcam, which you can actually see all the way up here in the corner. That's where the Logitech is now, the Brio. Originally, I was using that one, and then eventually I just decided to use my DSLR. So the DSLR is using Canon's EOS webcam utility, which on Mac is super buggy. So I cannot connect my camera to the docking station because it messes with the connection. I don't know exactly what the issue is because the docking station is Thunderbolt 3 certified and outputs enough wattage and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. Just doesn't work properly. So Rick is unlurked. Wonderful. So there are no questions. So I guess that's the end of stream. I guess we covered everything. I would say. I don't know if there's really anything else that people are interested in specifically. Let me check what else is in my Trello board that might be interesting for people. I don't think there's anything else particular to not really. There's nothing. Whoa! Holy moly, Surly. I don't think there's anything spectacularly particular. No. Did I get a haircut? Yes, I did, TD. I did get a haircut. Off to FCC, testing the setup. No, I don't want to FCC today. I have no energy for that. Surly, you've been lurking for ages while you pack. Where are you packing for? What you packing for, Surly? I want to know. Yes, so, okay. The other thing that I do on Mac is Chrome users, but I guess that's like Chrome specific, you know? I just have a user for my account. You're flying to Germany tomorrow. Hey, I'm gonna be in Germany next week. Which city are you gonna be in, Surly? If you don't mind saying. I'm gonna be in Berlin from Tuesday to Wednesday, basically. Because I leave Monday evening with the night train. Anyway, yeah, Berlin would be the nearest big city. Cool. That's cool. We'll be like close to each other. That's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, so I think from like a tech point of view, a couple 100 kilometers north on the coast. Oh, okay. That's fine. I'm also going to drop. See if I can beat tactics. 93 is a good... It's a good drop. It's a good drop. Ooh, this could be close, tactics. This could be very close. Oh, did you see that? Did you see that? I clipped the edge. And I think I scored just under you. I think I scored like 91 or something. That was very close. Jay Walter dropping a plane. That is serious business. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, that's more or less like all the like tech specific side of like streaming on macOS. I guess there's like a ton of stuff about streaming in general, but I don't know how interested people are in that because most people here are streamers themselves, so they probably know those things. And for non-streamers, it's like not that interesting to hear those things. So I decided to to not really go into so much detail about those things. But I mean, everyone can ask things if you want to ask things. In terms of managing stuff while streaming, I mean, I close like all of the apps. Discord, Slack, everything. I close everything out. I only have OBS running and just keep everything as lean as possible, because on a Mac you don't want to introduce anything really weird. The other thing I started doing is actually putting on Do Not Disturb, which Monterey has now put in the control menu, which is quite nice. In case there would be any alerts, they get suppressed. There shouldn't be any, but in case there are any, they get suppressed. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes stuff goes weird. You've missed 2 of my questions already. Really, Yoast? I guess chat is laggy. I have to refresh chat in OBS. What app do you use for keeping up with users in chat? Yeah, Twitch chat. Yoast, what were your questions? I must have missed them completely. Ah, you're flying to Stuttgart. Yoast, I missed that. Have I ever been tempted by YouTube live or YouTube gaming? I think the simple answer is no. The answer, what app do you use for keeping up with users in chat? Yeah, of course, Lurk Reveal. Of course. Lurk Reveal. What else would we be using than a Lurk Reveal? I mean, Yoast, YouTube and Twitch are very different, for sure. There's going to be an ad starting in a minute, by the way, just FYI. I like to warn people. Also, 10 seconds until drop of Surly's amazing digital friends. I think, so for me, the biggest difference between YouTube and Twitch is basically discoverability. But if you already have a following on Twitch and you want to move over to YouTube, you have to be convinced that enough people are going to follow you there. And the tools for streamers are not as fleshed out as they are for streamers on Twitch. It's just the reality. So I think if you're a huge streamer like Ludwig, you can easily go over to YouTube. Not because of the money necessarily, but because the streaming experience will be similar. You'll be taken care of. You're big, right? So you have a big community, a big following. You already have a YouTube channel that millions of people watch. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. If you're like me, that has not even 400 followers, 395, okay? You know, like, if I don't even have 400 followers, how many people would realistically follow me to YouTube? And the answer is not many, right? So I would lose a ton of viewership. And of course, I do this for even one person. Like, if only one person found this useful, I would do it. There's no problem. I streamed to 0 viewers last year for weeks because I wasn't getting discovered, which is fine. And then I sort of looked into how to get discovered a bit better, right? And yes, TD, the easy YouTube API, of course things are more difficult because it's not set up for tech streamers. It's meant for gamers. And this is the thing, is that 99% of all of the content that you find on YouTube, etc., like all of the content that you find, all of the content that you find about streaming on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook is about gaming. 99% of it. I think there's a huge gap for knowledge about basically educational content about what it's like to stream tech or educational content on Twitch versus other platforms. And I wanted to film like a series about it, but I do not have the time to do it. So if someone is putting together that kind of content, I'm happy to totally provide input on that. Like I have a lot of notes and things about like different chapters and what kind of things I would talk about, and like, you know, monetization versus non-monetization, like all this kind of stuff. And I follow, of course, a lot of the big sort of names who make these kind of coverage videos, you know, Devin Nash and Harris Heller, and people who've been in the business, and they talk about the business side more, right? But basically all of the content is aimed towards gamers. People streaming, either variety streamers or gamers. And yeah, it just doesn't apply to us tech streamers. It doesn't apply because streaming in tech is, let's say, largely educational, whether for yourself or for the others. And so the whole premise of what you're doing is so different that a lot of those tips don't apply. A lot of the generic ones do. Like one of my one of my favorite streamers to watch, X2 Shoes. He makes a lot of great tips on YouTube about streaming. And, you know, some of them are like, hey, you need to interact with chat. You can't just expect people to chat with you if you don't answer them in chat, which is normal. It's completely normal. Speaking of chat, TD, oh crap, I need to eat. Well, then you should definitely eat. Rick, what am I absolutely right about? I'm sorry, I lost the chat for a second there. See, I wasn't being a good streamer. Or, you know, he says other things like, you need to let chat also have an influence over what happens on stream. Tech gap, yes. Absolutely. You need to let chat decide things too. Like, you can't always just do the things that you want to do. And I agree with that too. Like, sometimes I'll make an executive decision and say, you know, I don't think we should do this now because I don't feel like it or I'm not up for it. And sometimes I'll let chat say, hey, what should this thing be called? Or who wants to name that? Or I don't know, all kinds of different stuff. Or should we stream this versus stream that? Or should we stop or should we continue? And, you know, with games, letting chat pick the game or whatever. But in a tech scenario, everything else is very different. You know, people aren't asking questions like, what's your loadout or something like that. They're asking like, you know, why are you using JavaScript to solve this problem? Or, you know, oh, what about learning React or something? Ah, Yost, that was your question. Should you stream for 24 or 48 hours? The answer is 14. Oh, I love this track. Yes, it finally came up. I've been waiting for this track to play on random for like 10 weeks now. Finally. Yes, and people asking, what about Tailwind or whatever? It's just, tech is so different. Tech is very different. And sometimes Pretzel hides itself, which is also kind of funny. Yost, you asked, you were asking something about learning React. Basically, I do not feel the need to learn React right now. So basically, I am concentrating on Free Code Camp. I know Steffi wants me to open this, so I'm concentrating on learning Free Code Camp. The reason I'm concentrating on learning Free Code Camp is because I need to learn how to code so that I can tackle my stream project, which is Twitch Analytics project. Tailwind on FCC. Is there even Tailwind on there? I don't know. This is what I opened, by the way. See? FCC is open now. So, when are we going to get a clicky keyboard build stream? I don't think I want a custom keyboard, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't make sense to a lot of people. I don't really have any desire to build a custom keyboard. First of all, I'm trying to save money right now, which may come as a surprise to you, but I'm taking a huge financial hit starting a business because I will be earning about 40% of what I earn right now, which means that a lot of things I will have to say goodbye to for a while. That's the price of starting your own business. It also means that I shouldn't spend money on useless things like tiny hands. Life in Switzerland is expensive. That is 100% correct. So we have a high living cost compared to other countries, right? So we pay 3,000 francs a rent in a month for our apartment. So yeah, so you know, we like, our apartment is great value. That's not the problem, but it is 3,000 a month for rent. So of course, you know, based on what I'm going to be earning as a startup co-founder, yeah, things will be a little bit tighter money wise. I mean, my partner earns too, but yeah, I mean, basically I have to consider that. So I'm trying not to buy a lot of stuff or gear or whatever, you know, like little $2 tiny hands is not the issue. But yeah, so basically I don't really have the desire to build a custom keyboard because it's just money or something that isn't really necessary in my opinion, because I have a very good keyboard, I might add. Like I use the macOS Logi MX keys. If you want to see the keyboard, actually, this one. So it's this one from Logitech, and it's really nice. I mean, it's got some heft to it. It really does. Like it's very, very hefty, which I like. Like it's not super flimsy and like very light, so I like that. But yeah, I just try not to do that. And the second thing is, like, I somehow am just not that fascinated with custom keyboards. I know a lot of people are fascinated with custom keyboards, but it's just somehow not that interesting for me. So yeah, so I don't think we won't be doing a custom keyboard clicky stream anytime soon, TD. Didn't you know about my startup? You're acting like it's a new thing, new business venture. I mean, officially it's from January, but we've already started and announced stuff beforehand. Actually, I just realized, Chad, I could actually work on the recipe stuff now. Who would want to see that? We could do like a quick pop-up dev stuff. I was just hyping up because starting a business is a big thing. Yes, thanks. I found this keyboard 2 days ago and it looked good to me. Not decided yet to buy, but looks really good. Oh, Rick, okay. Care to tell us more about this beautiful keyboard that you saw? Yeah, it is a big step, TD. It is. I mean, we took on investors, so we have to deliver as well. It's not just us burning money. We have to also make it work. Caracorder keyboard. Caracorder? Caracorder. Caracorder keyboard. I want to see this now. Ah, this is the thought keyboard thing. Does that even work? So you hook it up to your brain? Does it really work, TD? Do you just basically think? Type individual letters like a keyboard, or press all the letters in a word simultaneously, and Caracorder's internal processor will automatically arrange them on your screen in real time. What? That's kind of nuts. Wow, there's some like crazy... Huh. Oh, I see. They're multi-map. Ah, 5-way tactile. Oh gosh, that must take forever to learn. No? That must take a long time to learn. Oof. That must take a long time to learn. Yeah, I don't know. I need to see like a demo. You got to 25 words per minute in 3 weeks. Okay. Well, yeah, okay. Interesting. So I think... I guess we could do a bit of dev stuff, but I'm quite tired actually. Maybe I think we'll leave it there for today. If anyone has more questions, of course I'm happy to go through them. Oh, I guess I can also show OBS. That makes sense. Let's go move me. I want to move me over here.
We're going outside!
I don't think I need to go outside now. It's quite late here. It's already 20 to 11. I mean late, you know,
Garbage.
It's evening. Yeah. Why is it garbage though? So the way I have my OBS set up is I have my preview here. I don't normally use studio mode. If I need to, I can. I don't know if it's interesting for anyone how I've set up OBS. Does anyone even want to know that? I don't know if it's that interesting. We don't want you to go. I'll be back next week on Friday. So let's do OBS run. Let's look at OBS. Okay. So here's how OBS is set up. Basically, I have my preview here, which I've just disabled for the moment because it's confusing for me to look at. For you, it's less confusing. I don't know. I have my reward queue from Twitch. So for these, I've just basically gone and gotten the URLs from the custom browser docs. What panel do you use for the shortcut key input to switch scenes? So actually, I don't use keyboard commands for switching scenes. I had them mapped in the Stream Deck before, but I got rid of them because I actually don't switch scenes very often. But I'll come to that in a second because there's a reason why I don't have to switch scenes very often. So basically, the reward queue and different all of these things like are just custom URLs, right? So the ones with a C in front are custom ones. So Twitch chat, for example, that's standard from Twitch. The reward queue is a custom URL. The Twitch activity feed, normally it would be a standard one, but it stopped working today, so I changed it to a custom one. The way that you can get them dark, by the way, in case anyone wants to know, is there's a flag that you add at the end. So let me just paste this here and you'll see. If you add the question mark dark pop out to your URL, it will show it in dark mode. Because basically this is like a separate browser, so it doesn't retain the same settings that you have in your browser. So I wanted it in dark mode. Yes, of course it's access denied because you have to put your username in there, TD. You have to put your username in, of course, right? Yes, so those are just the URLs, right? Which is no big deal. One of the ones that I'm using, which I think is very useful, is the ads one. So Twitch is running ads, and they recently introduced a ads manager. So let me just put this here, and you have to replace it with your username as well. But basically you have this streamer ads manager panel. And what this does is it allows you to see when an ad is going to run. So this is how I'm able to warn you when an ad is going to run. It also enables me to snooze them. It gives it an extra 5 minutes. So if I'm about to end stream or something, I can use it to snooze, or I can manually run a 30-second ad. By default, it will run a 30-second ad every hour. But if I run it manually, it will remove the upcoming pre-roll. So normally I have it like this size. So I can avoid people who are coming into stream now, I can avoid them getting pre-roll ads by manually running an ad. And I can change all the settings here and stuff, but I don't do that during stream. That's a bad idea. So that's that. Activity feed, everybody knows. That's nothing new. So the way that I've set up my scenes, I have to be careful not to change scenes now. Now I would probably activate studio mode because otherwise it's not going to make sense. Basically, I have only basically 2 scenes while I'm streaming. It's main, which is the one that you see right now, and just chatting, which is the one where there's a video and there's the chat on the side. The only other ones that I have are Be Right Back, which is the one where Fiona's in the middle, and you know, she appears there. That's like if I go on break or something. And the starting soon, essentially. That where the video plays, right? Now I also have a gaming scene where everything is on the right, if I'm playing a game, which is like the main content, and then I have all the stuff on the left, like the game, or like mini motorways or whatever, like very simple games, because most games don't run on Mac, obviously. I also have a just me, which is literally just the camera, and that's for doing stuff like time warp, or if I don't want to show chat, if I'm taking like a screenshot or something, I don't know. But basically, normally, most of the time I'm in the main, and then there's the ending scene where the credits run. That's it. So I don't really need to switch scenes very often. If I do switch, it's between just chatting and the main, basically. Now, the way that the scenes are composed are basically, I have a base. So you see here all of these individual square brackets. The base has the stuff in it that I want to appear everywhere, with the order of things that it appears in. So for example, technical difficulties, which I showed you before, this one. The claw team thing on the top left. The stream element stuff, like the stats bar and the shoutout stuff. Alerts, meme box, all that stuff. There's also sound alerts, which is the tooting sound from Ian. Which basically, that's the number one thing that gets played, is Ian tooting. Which actually is just an overlay, but it's more about the sound. Blackhole is the number one here, and then tie condenser is my microphone. Those are the two inputs. So those are on every scene. Then I have a scene just for my face cam, which has my settings for how my face cam is set up, right? Which is my camera, the spectralizer, which you can see here on the bottom. That's when I'm talking, you can see each individual audio bar, and like stuff like that, and like each part of the overlay, right? That's all in one group scene. Then I have the bunny cam as a scene. Then I have the overcam as a scene, the one up there. Then I have the finger cam as a scene. Then I have the drop game itself as a scene. I have the animation, so that's different stuff as a different scene. I actually don't really use this one anymore. That's only for the throwing the paper ball, I think. Can someone throw a paper ball at me and you'll see how it triggers? Or I can throw a paper ball at myself. Exactly. So basically it activates that scene. Thank you, everybody. It activates that scene in my main scene. So you see here there's animation. So this is active all the time. But then within animation, it will just activate throw paper and deactivate it again. Then I have just two other scenes. One that I use for meetings, which is just my camera. And testing, which is blank, which is nothing in it. And what I do is basically in my main, I include all of those configuration scenes. So I have, for example, drop game, which is always on top. Then I have the base, which includes everything. Then I have bunny cam, overcam, finger cam, face cam, and animation stuff. And then I have the two displays. And the reason I have two is because if I blur, you can see here, it's blurring. It activates here. It activates the blur. So if I'm not in studio mode, if I'm like this, it will blur my entire screen for you. If that makes sense. And that's because it's set above the other Samsung. And basically in other things, I don't need those. So like anything that's specific to that scene, I always keep in that spot. So here, Twitch chat, for example, I probably have to refresh this because I think it's old. Now it should be fine. But basically, if I don't need something in that scene, then if I don't need something globally, then I don't make it available globally. Right? That's basically the rule. So that's how my OBS is set up. It's very simple. So basically, I don't need to change scenes very often. If I do, I actually just click it. Sure, I could map them onto Stream Deck. Like I have spaces for them, but it's not super useful, I guess, for me. So yeah, that's basically it. That's the whole shebang. Now someone has to write in chat because the chat window's empty. How did you move your video from bottom right to bottom left? Ah, nope. That is actually not rectangle. Let me show you how that works. So that is a setting. Basically, let me just show. I'll leave this on for a second. So the way that the video works, let me just show Stream Deck at the same time. So I've got Stream Deck over here. Basically, each of these buttons are a hotkey. So this one is shift option? Yeah, option shift 1, option shift 2, option shift 4, and option shift 3. So clockwise, right? And what these are mapped to in OBS are specific actions. So if I go to preferences and I go to hotkeys, you'll see that, where are they? You see these are mapped to face cam top right, face cam bottom right, top left, bottom left. These settings here come from a plugin for OBS. And basically, if I go to, let me just switch to studio mode for a sec. If I go to face cam, so that's the face cam. If I go to filters, is it here? I forget where it is now. Where did I set these? I forgot where I set them. I think it's in, hold on. I think it's in tools and plugins. Where did I set that now? See, now I don't remember. Maybe it's in Facecam itself? Under filters? I'm not sure where I put this actually. I watched a tutorial for it, and then I'm not sure where I put it. It's definitely magic. It has to be magic because I have no idea where it is. So it can only, so there's this show transition and hide transition, which is move. But then where is that being triggered from? Let me just check in the settings again. Let me just check the hotkeys. What is this listed under? It's listed under main. I think it's a plugin. What is the plugin called? That's a very good question. I don't know. So there's transition table, which is different. That's allowing overriding for each scene. WebSockets, automatic scene switcher, deck link, Elgato remote control. No. Where would the plugin be? I wonder where that plugin is. I don't remember what it's called. OBS Matty Mover V09. It might be something that's just not available while I'm streaming. Is that possible? So I know. How did I set this? Now I'm really wondering how I set it. Because there's basically this, I had to set this name somewhere. There's no properties on this. Okay. And if we go to the facecam scene itself, it would have to move the whole thing. That's very strange. Okay. Let me check something. So I know that I looked at this. Move camera plugin hotkey OBS. I know that I watched a thing about how to do this with a plugin. It might be this one. Add a move transition. Ah, hold on. It could be under the move transition. Let me just check something. Huh. No. So I would have had to define that name somewhere. So I'm not sure. I know it's the move transition, but I don't know how I did it anymore, to be honest, Rick. That is a move source. It's basically this. It's basically move source, right? Because it's, if a source is showing, it moves the source around. It's a great feature. It's very useful. If I find it out, maybe I can show it another time on stream. I don't remember exactly how I did it. Ah, hold on. Maybe it's a filter on the scene itself. Ah, yes. Okay. Here we go. So it's on the filter of the main scene, the whole scene. You can add, now with this plugin, you can add a filter. So basically, facecam top right takes a particular source and using a certain thing, it transforms it. But it's really cool because if you want to get transform, basically what you do is you move the camera where you want it to be, and then you create this filter and you say get transform, and it already gets all the positions for you, so you don't have to write it. And then you make all of these filters effect filters. You just clone them, right? Change the position each time. And then each of those filters, these effect filters, are in your hotkeys menu. And you add them to a hotkey. And then you bind the hotkey to the Stream Deck, like we saw before. So I could technically do time warp scan as one too, for example. Does anyone want to see how time warp works? It's very cool. It's very, very cool. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I don't want that. So if anyone wants to see how time warp works, I could show how time warp works. That's a secret. So if you're still watching, here's a little secret for you. This is how time warp works. Oh, I probably shouldn't have killed the hotkey. Uh-oh. Now I broke something on stream. That's why I don't stream stuff about OBS settings, see? Gaming, just chatting. Main. Hold on, there's one scene. Meeting. Be right back. End. Gaming, just chatting. Just me. Here we go. So, time warp scan enable. and time warp scan disable. It's just a jump to the left. What do you mean jump to the left, Yost? Well, basically, you basically put a hotkey in because it's a plugin. It's a plugin, and the plugin, Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's a plugin, and I don't remember the name of the plugin. I would have to look for it again. I don't remember the name of it, but it is a plugin. And let me just change to studio mode so I can go look. Just me. My people, they are here. I see. That's what it is. Ah, here we go. So time warp scan is a... Yeah, I don't remember the name of the plugin. Let me look. It's called... Oh yeah, time warp scan. That's what it's called. Time warp scan 0.1.6. The time warp song. Oh, I missed the reference completely. I wasn't thinking about that. I'm gonna change the lights again to Bermuda to match my shirt. Isn't that nice? So yes, basically time warp scan, you can set up all these things, and apparently, hold on, I'm gonna actually change. Can I change scenes to just me? Apparently you can also make the line work differently. So the rotation could be... Ah, it could be rotated. Oh. We better try this out. So this is what it's normally like. So this is what it's normally like, which is kind of cool. But you can rotate it 90 degrees. I'm afraid now what happens. That's actually kind of cool. I'm also wondering if we do it... What if we do it at 45 degrees? This could be very scary. Let's try. It's coming in diagonal. It's great. It's actually pretty cool. I didn't realize you could rotate it. I hadn't realized that. So that's quite cool. That's quite cool. So you can see here there's a little rotation setting. You can also make the line fatter. I might make it a bit fatter, maybe 7 pixels. It's pretty hilarious, actually. So yeah, okay, so I could ask people to enter rotation each time, or I could just create multiple versions. I could rename this one. So time warp scan top bottom. Ah, wait, if I rename this, will it rename the hotkey? I wonder. Let's check. Let's check if the hotkey stays as well. Panther would be so proud of me streaming and changing things at the same time. Stream. Just me. Time warp scan enable. Ah, okay, so there's only one. There's only one. It's only one per scene. I wonder what happens when you add 2. Let's add a second one and see what happens. Time warp scan diagonal. Okay, so this one is going to be rotation 45 degrees. Okay. Let's close that. Let's go back to our OBS preferences. Hotkeys. Time warp. Ah, there's two, but we don't know which one is which. Huh. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just have to guess, won't we? It's gonna activate both of them, isn't it? Ooh, that's actually pretty interesting. What if it activates both? That could be cool. It's the same hotkey, exactly. So technically it would do both. Oh! I didn't realize you could do that. That's kind of cool. But it messes up because of the diagonal. Oh, that's like... I could chop myself up into bits. That's kind of funny. Okay. So I found like this cool symbol for it. Let me go back to his. So I found this cool symbol for it. So I could make a second one and call it diag and call this one hori or top down. And then I know which one is which. Now for this one, I think the hotkey needs to be different. Otherwise it's just silly. So let's make a hotkey for that one. Why not? What hotkey should we do? So I think it should be Command Option that one and Command Option that one. So now we'll do this one is enable and this one is disable. Let's see if that works. So this should be diagonal. Oh wait, I can't see it. Northeast, southwest could use cardinal directions for different wipes. Oh, that doesn't work. I think it's the opposite. Oh, it is. It is the opposite. So it's Command Option dollar and Command Option this. Oh no! It triggered one! I wasn't ready, chat. I wasn't ready. Oh no, now what? Now I'm stuck. I'm completely stuck. I'm stuck. Okay. No, it's always gonna... It's just gonna go back to this now. Oh no. I have to change it. Oh no. Okay, hold on. Time warp. Now I need to check how it's set up. So this one is the... Disable is the first. Okay. So dollar and thingamajiggy. Okay, that seems correct. A touch of Quasimodo in that last one. It's a bit strange. It's a bit weird. Okay, let's see if this works correctly. So face, this is top down. Yeah, that works. And then diagonal. There we go. Fun. Super fun. Channel super fun. Okay, so you can do, it's pretty cool actually. So cardinal directions for different wipes. I actually think down up could also be quite funny, but it involves creating a lot of different hotkeys, which I somehow want to avoid. So is there a way to change direction? Ah, wait, if we go rotation 360. No, 180? 180. Yeah, okay. Oh, down up is also funny. I can also do one like this. Could make yourself huge nostrils with the oh yes, of course. Wait. We have to time it correctly though. Oh, it's so difficult. No. The speed. Here we go. Oh, it's difficult. It's very difficult. But it's funny. And you can start them. Oh, you can start them at different times as well. Oh, that's so trippy. That's so trippy. So I could start the bottom one and then be like, oh. It's just weird. It's just weird. It's such a cool thing. I don't know. I'm so entertained by it. Yeah, so I think that's probably gonna be it for today. I somehow spent 2 hours doing this stuff. I'm surprised that no one redeemed the new channel point though. The new redemption. I'm a little bit surprised. I don't think there's really anything else to show. There's not that much. It doesn't overwrite the last time warp. How do you mean? They have to run on the same time. Yeah, I know. It doesn't, because it's a still image, so it's on. Yeah. It doesn't. Oh, Steffi. Peekaboo. Yes, indeed, peekaboo. How can I do this in a good way? I haven't thought this through about how to reveal it. Maybe maybe we'll do like this. Okay. I hope you're ready, chat. Steffi has redeemed peekaboo. I see you. Oh, I thought it would be funny to take out my Jason mask, because you know I probably need to get other masks too, but I can't be bothered to buy more Jason masks basically. And yes, I don't think most things through. Probably. I love how the music is like super chill, but this is like terrifying. So I think that's probably going to be it for today, I guess. There's not really much else to say. Now I get to switch to the ending scene. This is where we say thank you. So thank you everyone for coming out today. I hope it was interesting. If you took clips, share the clips with people who it might be helpful for. I really enjoy streaming on Mac. It's very, very cool. It's challenging at times, but it's very rewarding to have one computer that I can use for everything. So thanks everyone for coming out. I think it was good to have a little bit of a chill stream. Remember, I won't be here on Monday, but next Friday is a doozy. Thank you also to Jinri for following. That was really cool that she came and followed. She's partnered streamer actually from Korea. She's building a very cool product for Twitch actually. And Coil, all the Coil viewers for the 100 bits cheer that obviously happened when I wasn't streaming. Thank you very much for that. I would like to raid. Who would I like to raid? I think I would like to raid someone who's doing something interesting like Advent of Code. So here is a great streamer to raid. Raid drop. Here's a great streamer to raid. Please show a lot of support for CJ. We're gonna go raid Coding Garden. And I hope all of you have a lovely weekend, and we will see each other next Friday at 12 o'clock UTC +1. Thank you, Rick and Tactics, for your great inputs. Thanks, and see you all next time.